You are not watching the He Say She Say Sports Show. We back at the crib. I'm your host, King Ralph, here with the homie Marv, as well as the homie Kai.
What up, what up?
What's happening, fellas? How y'all feeling?
I'm doing great, man.
Bless. Well, this show is brought to you by Fit Boxer. We at the crib, but we still showing the homies some love. So if you ever want to book a session, just call the number at the bottom of the screen, 707 Fit Boxer. Thank you. And we just gonna jump straight into it, bro. Stuff's getting interesting with the NFL draft approaching. So I got to thinking, because I slightly disagree with the way that they got these quarterbacks supposed to be drafted. Taking that aside, relationships and everything, who would you go with if you had to put a top five list as far as the?
Well, I have compiled my list.
Oh yeah, all right.
My list.
We'll kick it off.
Number one, Trevor Lawrence. All right, so I have to go Trevor Lawrence, number one, aka Sunshine from Remember the Titans. Sunshine.
Right.
I feel like when you're looking at Trevor Lawrence, first and foremost, I look at, he has the perfect quarterback height, 6'6", able to see over the line, NFL caliber defensive line, offensive line, et cetera, et cetera. He's played in all the requisite big games at Clemson. He has some mobility to him, which I thoroughly appreciate and I like. And I'm looking at Trevor Lawrence, and there was actually a play that I remember last season, or should I say it was this season, when he threw an interception, because started off the season kind of a little shaky, threw an interception, and he immediately ran back and tackled the guy or tried to stop. And I know everyone talks about all the other things that he does, but it's winning plays. I look at winning intangibles. We can spew out the different stats. We can spew out talent and all that kind of stuff, but he has winning intangibles. Lamar Jackson has winning intangibles.
Right.
He can use a little more offensive talent around him, but he has those winning intangibles. And then, I'm looking at him. He's third ranked in FBS and accuracy rate. He's a mobile quarterback. He's durable. Outside of COVID, he's been relatively durable. So I look at Trevor Lawrence as my number one quarterback. But it's crazy because, I always say when I list these rankings, and we'll each go around, where a quarterback ends up specifically organization-wise really matters.
Thank you. Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so I'm not saying it to poo-poo anyone's rankings, but where you end up in an organization, it matters because that will optimize whatever potential that you do have. Right. The number two I actually have Zach Wilson. I have Zach Wilson from BYU.
Please break that down.
But I'm going to tell you why.
No. It's not like I disagree.
Okay.
I want to hear everything I can about this kid because I just don't see what everybody else sees. Right. So I want to hear it. I'm honestly open to hearing whatever you have.
This was actually tough for me. So this wasn't just Zach Wilson, right? I was going to put Justin Fields there because I think Justin Fields, his ceiling is high. That makes sense, right? So I feel like his ceiling, his potential is actually higher than what Zach Wilson is currently doing when you're looking at the weapons that he has around him compared to a Mac Jones, who had Devontae Smith, Jimmy Waddle, all those guys. And I'm looking at Zach Wilson's ability to be able to throw outside the pocket, make those kind of off balance throws, be extremely accurate. So that's what I'm looking at Zach Wilson. I feel like right now, I think he's a more refined passer than Justin Fields. But I think Justin Fields, who's number 3 on my list, I think he has a better ceiling, and I think he faced stiffer competition, right? But the one thing with Zach Wilson is when you have certain abilities as a quarterback, sometimes regardless of the competition that you play, as long as you have those abilities in certain situations, you can actually your instinct is going to kind of revert back to those, right? But I think the way the league is going with the Mahomes world, with Lamar Jackson of the world, I think that Justin Fields fits that league prototype better. Yeah. So I just think his ceiling is actually higher, and I think in the long run, he's actually going to be a better quarterback than Zach Wilson. But I think right now, very narrowly, I have Zach Wilson number 2. So that's my pick. And then let's see, who I had number 4? I had Mac Jones. Played at Alabama. So yeah, he's gonna hate my stuff. I have Mac Jones number 4.
I love him.
Oh, you love Mac Jones?
Yeah.
Yeah,
everybody wants the flashy Corvette with in the Ferrari with the rims. And I want a guy who's been there in the biggest games. I don't know. Oh, he's basically thrown to Tyreek Hill. Right. He's basically thrown to Okay. Yeah. Is it where it needs to be? That's what I'm looking at.
And I like what you said there, because I was gonna say this. People can use that as an argument. But here's the pushback on that argument, right? Because you're like, oh, he could just be Case Keenum at the next level.
He could be holding them back, but he's not.
Look at what Jared Goff did with Robert Woods, Cooper Kupp, and all that, right? So sometimes you can have all those good weapons, but if the quarterback sucks, it doesn't matter. So that's my case, because I think that my fifth quarterback, Trey Lance, right? My last on my list out of those guys. The reason why I don't have him at 4 and I have Mac Jones ahead of him is because Trey Lance, we don't have enough film on the dude, man. Yeah. He's never he kind of reminds me of I don't want to diss anybody, but when I feel like every year there's always every few years that one quarterback that has all the measurables. DeMarcus Russell has all the measurables, 6 foot, whatever. Yeah. Strong arm, you know what I'm saying? Can move in the pocket.
That's cool. And that's what I was thinking about the BYU kid. Yeah. I don't want to get caught with a Johnny Manziel situation.
I see.
Like Russell he Wilson, looks amazing, but then when the fire's really on, because you've been playing against Mountain West and not SEC and not Big Ten, it's different. And then this is the NFL now, so there's no you've just made a giant leap within the competition. You see what I'm saying? Within SEC, it's just like, oh, these boys are a lot better than the boys I was just playing with. You know, but I've dealt with at least 2 of him before, because when I played Ole Miss, they had 2. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Or when I played LSU, they had 4 5-star recruits, or things like you're used to playing elite level players. Probably not all over the field like the NFL, but at least here and there in certain spots to where you're like, I gotta put touch on this where that safety is, because he's a 5-star recruit just like I am. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? Versus I'm slinging it because I know y'all niggas not as good as I am.
Yeah,
you see it? Like
this is where
but that's why
I like to interject as far as
that's a great topic.
But I
don't disagree at all. But it's just how I look at certain players.
Yeah, I feel you.
And that's it. But that is great. Yeah, that's
just like with me, like Mac Jones. I don't dislike him.
He could be Case Keenum,
but I just wouldn't take him. Like if I had the 3rd pick, and I want Mac Jones, I'm trading Mac.
Now,
I'm not trading up to get Mac Jones.
Hold on.
Which is like what right now they're projecting the 49ers are supposed to draft him, and they technically traded up. So it's like they traded up to get Mac Jones.
Are you ranking them based off the quarterback needing teams in terms of draft order, or are you just ranking them in terms of actually talent-wise?
I'm talking about talent-wise. I'm just talking about talent-wise.
Do you think he's lesser talented than Trey Lance? Because I had him second to last.
I trust Mac Jones tape more than I trust Trey Lance tape.
Okay, that's what I was saying. That's what I'm saying.
So I just don't have, but I also don't have like Trey Lance super high on my list either.
Right. That's
like just straight up, but really based off of talent, like just talent alone. If I was to list the top 10 quarterbacks that's going to this draft, like Mac Jones would probably measure more with like Davis Mills than at the top of my list, but. He's accurate. I know what he's gonna do and where he's gonna be at. He's obviously competitive driver to be the driving force. Because you can have all this talent and not know how to drive.
That's true.
And so it's like for me, like I do rock with that point. So I'm gonna at least give him some credit. So I would draft him, but I wouldn't have waste a pick that high on someone like that.
My thing is it would just depend on the situation. Like who's available in free agency? Who do I have on my roster? What is my cap looking like? With all those being said, I might have to take this kid.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Or I have to hope to be in the same position next year and get somebody who I may not see yet in college.
Yeah.
So it's just like it's a now or never type of situation to where like the cap, the available personnel on your roster and free agency forces you because you just got this coaching job and you know you got 3.5 years or else you're out the door. So you have to, you know what I'm saying, take a chance on one of these kids and hope he at least gets you to a second contract. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's really where these GMs and these coaches are the positions that they're in.
That's real.
That's facts. Yeah, actually somebody earlier brought up something you brought up. They were like, he was like, just look at a team like the 49ers where a couple years ago, they're an accurate pass away from beating Pat Mahomes. And it's like if they had someone like a Mac Jones who can throw an accurate pass, where Jimmy G is, when he's hot, but if he's bad, he's bad.
He's Jay Cutler.
And so it's like if you would have had Mac Jones, who you know is going to give you who's good or reliable.
But that's why I always say,
that situation. Do you get in that situation, and what do you do with it?
Because you have the embarrassment of riches, but it's like that decision making. And I told you that's another reason why, with all due respect to Pat Mahomes and the Chiefs, I picked the Bucks. I was those guys that picked the Bucks to win it because I kept telling people all in the offseason, I was like, if Tom Brady was replaced by Jimmy G, they win that Super Bowl. He doesn't airmail that throw. Well, now you put him on a team with all the weaponry in the Bucks and a better defense, right? And then they face that Chiefs team that everyone was saying, was going to win 7 rings. That's how they killed. And they wound up winning. Right. So sometimes that's being able to make that throw. Yeah. Sometimes in clutch situations, you airmail that throw. Tom Brady's not doing that even at age 44. Right. I don't know how old he is. So yeah. So you're right. That's
because it's just like, and that's why I say that's why I have Jones being higher on my list because I don't see him getting happy feet in those situations.
And we don't know what
because he knows I have. This is the number one receiver in the nation. He's the Heisman winner. If I don't get him a perfect ball, I got to deal with him. Let alone everybody else, the coaches and that. So you know what I mean. And then I want to perform on my own. So he's already under enough scrutiny, just playing the position. And you're playing quarterback at Bama. You see what I'm saying? That comes with his. You don't just play quarterback at Bama being no scrub, bro.
Right.
They might not have a prolific passing offense, but they're not scrubs either.
Yeah, that's true.
They got they produce better quarterbacks than USC. I tell you that.
Quarterbacks be awful, bro.
Hey, they're better than the USC quarterbacks.
And although I did talk stuff about Sam Darnold, I am kind of looking forward to seeing how he plays with the Panthers if they don't draft the quarterback.
Bro, all that rejuvenation, new scenery stuff sounds good until the linebackers start flying around.
You got to go ball, bro.
You still got to go. It's still football, bro. And you were making fundamental football bad decisions. So that's not going to That's so bad.
Panthers have been cursed.
But also, like, when you play for the Jets, and it's not really much going on good for me. Like, everything that could go bad went bad. My man got mono.
They're cursed.
What was you doing to get mono?
Terrible head coach.
We were in the middle of a pandemic.
And then they kept him for 2 seasons.
No, it was before the pandemic.
Was it?
It was.
Oh, man, that sucks.
Yeah. Oh, that sucks. But me, I'm gonna go with mine. So like,
break it down for us.
My list isn't really much from yours. I just flip flop people. So like for me, I think Justin Fields and Trevor Lawrence are like 1B and 1A. And I just like I just look at the comparisons all the way from high school all to like where they are right now, and it just depends on what you want in a quarterback. Like I think that Trevor Lawrence is athletic enough to where if you wanted someone more explosive athletically, but then the explosiveness from an athletic standpoint that Fields has.
4.40.
Yeah, Trevor Lawrence, arm and accuracy, and his like ability to break down stuff. Like it just because sometimes that, although I didn't like the criticism that Justin Fields was getting anonymously, it was like he does hone in on a receiver for too long where his progression is slower. That's all I'll say. I'm not saying that he has issues breaking down defenses or that he doesn't work hard.
He struggles versus the blitz.
Yeah, he does struggle versus the blitz. Where I've seen a stat earlier, like Mac Jones had he was like 78% completion percentage against the blitz this year.
He doesn't flinch.
And I was like something that's like that.
That's what.
Mm-hmm. So I do have him at 4.
And Smith gonna be over.
Yeah, I do have him at 4 because I just think that like Josh Allen played in the Mountain West and he was able to be good. So like I kind of look at their trajectory as like their talents from Zach Wilson to Josh Allen, outside of Josh Allen just being a bigger quarterback. and probably a little bit more athletic as well. But his ability to maneuver within the pocket. The one reason why, like, I do have a knock on him is if you go look at like the season before last versus this past season, which is my same criticism for Mac Jones as well, is that he played 2 years, but it just the first year just wasn't nothing special. Then the second year, he balls out. So I'm like, is he the first? Did he progress to this point, or is this lightning in a bottle?
I look at it like it's the same thing when you either come to a team for the first time or you just get drafted. They're not going to give you the whole playbook right away.
Yeah.
They're going to see what you're good at, see what you're not good at, see what calls are able to make, and then by halfway through the year, or going like Cam.
Yeah.
Now you're going to see the Patriots this next coming year. Play calling will be different because they know exactly what works, what doesn't work, what his strengths are, and how he fits within.
And they have better players.
Right. So it's going to be a different offense, so to speak, when it comes to the pace. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. So I think that has a thing to do to it. And ultimately, I feel like with the whole Matt Leinart thing, he was surrounded. We would say the world of richest, spoiled. Two running backs, elite receivers. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, and
he went
seventh overall. And then we saw what happened with Matt Leinart. So the same could be, we could sit here and say, you know what I mean, blah, 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 and then he can go out there and be the next Matt Leinart.
Right.
So it is. So with the Jones kid, we won't know until he plays in the NFL and really, you know what I mean? Was it the players, or you know what I mean? Was it, you know, did he progress along with them and help them, you know, and elevate them to the next level?
And that's exactly why the only reason why I have him ahead of Trey Lance is due to the back there production. Having a 300 passing attempts.
Yeah, that's scary.
Because I got Mac at 4 after that.
You might have a stink streak waiting to happen.
Because he's raw and it's like you have time.
I low key trust Davis Mills.
Because that's another thing. You could
possibly put him at 5.
There could be another quarterback over Trey Lance.
Yeah. That's what I think.
He doesn't have to be 5.
And I think it might not even be a quarterback.
I think somebody might go talent.
Like
if you go to the right people.
Yeah, ultimately, like when we started off, that's you know where these boys end up.
That's why I don't have an issue with who they're being drafted by, projected to be drafted by. Like I do like the 49ers having Mac Jones and seeing him inserted into that offense. He has an arm where he can make the 3-level throws. He's accurate, calm, poised, leader. Has good leadership, breaks down defenses very well. So, like, I can see that, like, why you would draft that if that's the type of quarterback you need. Because, like, we have a great defense. I need someone that's not gonna do way too much, but he's not gonna screw us over either.
Right.
And I'm cool with that. But my issue, like I said, that's why I prefaced it with you just have the 3rd pick. So I just feel like
that's you're saying a lot with that 3rd pick.
Yeah. And you traded up.
Third pick and a trade up, and like given what you guys gave away, there should be no doubt about whoever you pick.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? There should be no doubt. But duh. You know, that's you know.
Yeah.
But
I feel like at that high, it's like you can literally go with anything.
Hey, remember that year when Mario Williams won the Boone?
Man, he was gonna be like the next Bruce Smith or something.
Hey, he actually was cool. He was straight.
No, yeah, he was.
He was just straight. That no one thought that anyone outside.
Everybody thought Reggie was going first.
That was
like, wait, what? Yeah. That's not Reggie.
Right. You don't look nothing like Reggie. I know what Reggie looked like.
Right. That's crazy. But shoot, we I'm kind of looking forward to seeing what happens. What's the draft next week? What's on the other 2 weeks?
Well, not necessarily 2 weeks, but a week and a few days. It's the 25th, Thursday.
Hey.
Thursday. I think it's the 25th.
I'm kind of looking forward to seeing.
20 what?
25th. No, is it the Thursday or is it?
So it's about at least 13, 14
Thursday
days. Somewhere around there.
Something like that. I thought it was Thursday. It might be 29th.
Yeah, because I want to see who the Raiders draft.
If you know the exact date, just drop a comment.
Yeah, don't be shy.
Yeah, I want to see who the Raiders draft.
I was gonna say Raiders. My mind has one speed.
I have faith in Mike Mayock. I have faith in Mike Mayock.
And if you draft a pass rushers, it's because you're like, man, we messed up.
Nah, I actually just shout out to the homie Tar because he be fighting for him so hard. He actually sent me this analytics.
Nice,
I know people don't like analytics, but they sent this analytics and it actually makes sense. So like when it comes to like running the ball, or like rush defense, he's like top 5 in the league as far as defensive linemen.
What place was he drafted in?
4
overall.
Yeah. Because remember,
so when you draft somebody 4 overall, you're drafting them for run defense.
I was like, you ain't let me finish though.
Oh, okay, my bad.
You drafted him to be Aaron. Come on, man. Nah. It wasn't a bad player.
And then he is like Jadeveon Clowney, where like if you watch the games, Jadeveon Clowney makes a difference. It's just he just doesn't produce sacks.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much what Cleveland
Farrell
is.
When you get that dude on Madden, he about to kill, and he just stops the run. You're just like, okay. Now I gotta draft somebody else. So it's just like.
So like he gets a lot of pressures, and Crosby gets a lot of sacks.
Yeah.
So it's like
it's a team
works.
situation. Yeah.
It works. I just think that it's the fact that we drafted him at 4 when there was like Josh Allen, the edge rusher was available. We should have drafted him.
Well,
but like as far as scheme and fit, Cleveland Farrell fit more, and then we ended up getting Crosby in the same draft.
For the longest, one of your defensive ends was the run stopper, and one was the pass rusher.
Right.
Not until you get into the 90s and like the Minnesota days, and more recently with like your 2000 Colts team, Dwight Freeney and Robert Mathis, where you get 2 rush ends. And now it's all about pressure because, no one's rushing the ball as much as they used to. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? So, but it used to, you had to have a designated run stopper on as a defensive player. You put pressure this way and run them to the run stopper. You see what I'm saying? And that was how you designed your defense. But,
my last point was going to say that was never a bad draft on the Raiders.
No.
Because your picks that you guys got, you got guys that you wanted. But the issue that, or should I say the criticism that came was when you drafted said player.
The
first 2
But my thing is, if you know you want this guy and you know you're going to draft him anyway, what does it matter when you draft him? I want him. That's just because you don't draft him the same way. I know what I'm going to do with him. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, ultimately, I have faith in Mike Mayock.
Yeah, it's like Rashad Bateman, who I want the Ravens to draft. I doubt he's going to be there past pick 20. But I saw like Daniel Jeremiah, who used to work for the Ravens. He usually has really good mock drafts. He had him like somewhere like 38. And I'm like, he ain't that little 38, man. He's like the 3rd best receiver in the draft. Just draft fool. But we're going to draft like the edge rusher.
Like we'll draft something you don't need.
Right. So, I mean, if you get Jalen Phillips, that's nice.
We'll draft another running back.
We might, man. Shoot.
How hurt would you be if y'all
if we get one of those edge rushers from, what's that boy from Miami?
Oh, bro, Phillips.
Yeah, there's Rousseau and Phillips. Phillips is nasty, man.
Phillips, I was gonna say
he
Phillips.
Got questions, but that's it. But
which one of them was like 6'7"?
He's fast. I think Phillips.
That's the problem.
Yeah,
too fast.
No, he's super
too fast.
Like,
slow down. You wouldn't have so many concussions.
Yeah. Slow down and hit with your head up. Yeah. I hate seeing that, man. I've been seeing people just diving in like, bro, what's wrong?
They're stopping that. I know from at least from when I was coaching. You're not allowed to if you don't teach if you don't coach the right way, they'll get you out of there. Mm-hmm. So they're starting now at a young Pop Warner level and teaching them that you can't hit what you can't see.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And once you teach them that and you teach them at Pop Warner and then they continue that throughout the high schools and colleges, we'll see that progress to the NFL. That's going to take a couple generations, honestly, before you see people, everyone or most people tackling the proper way.
Yeah. That's probably like one of those things where
people just don't want to be.
If you're probably like 8, you can probably teach that. Yeah. Like now, by the time, so like you're
once
8,
you're 16, it's crap.
Yeah. Oh, you're hitting how you're hitting.
I'm the next Sean Taylor. You can't tell me nothing, bro.
Right.
I'm knocking everything's head off. Right?
And we was talking with the conversation we were having earlier. I was talking about this. I was thinking about this. I was like, when you start talking about corners. If one of your corners is definitely going to be Deion, if you all-time corners, What two corners would you pick?
You go first.
Is it like a Jordan situation where like that's a given? We're not even mentioning that.
No.
When it comes to Dion,
it's just I just want to know do you agree with the statement that if you were to do that, an all-time list, and do a poll, that would like a large quantity of people would pick Dion at 2.
No doubt about it.
I'm gonna say like
Just you got to think about Cowboy Nation alone.
Yeah,
you got to think about Cowboy Nation alone. And then the fact that he went from that team and then went to the 49ers. So he went from locking up Michael Irvin to locking up Jerry Rice, or was it vice versa?
Yeah.
But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just like that elevated him in so many people's minds to where it's like, come on, bro. It's like the Jordan conversation.
He
like,
had a contract.
Yeah, that's cute. That's cute.
right.
But okay.
Right.
Deion got contracts up there.
And then he got a World Series ring. So
Yeah.
it's just like,
Deion's the definition of a playmaker.
Right.
So everyone else plays corner. He's a playmaker.
He is the playmaker.
He is a playmaker.
Yeah.
He makes plays like a
I know
safety.
Michael Irvin's nickname is playmaker.
No,
It's not.
that's prime time.
Yeah.
He's the
We
playmaker.
just have to have the name Prime Time. And
Right, yeah.
What
you can't have two nicknames.
what nickname is colder than Prime Time? No nickname is colder than Prime Time, yo.
Yeah, maybe the GOAT, that's it. But
Right.
Yeah, but still, prime time, that sounds cool.
Yeah. Like I just think like that man was.
I like Big Play Shay. That's a pretty cool nickname.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
Sean lights out in there.
Bro, I hated that.
Yeah.
I hated that.
Yeah, Sean lights out.
Oh man.
Yo, I was so happy when they got them up out of here, bro. I really did not. I did not like that Chargers team. Yeah, Phillip Rivers out there chalking up stuff.
When it was 14-2, they lost. That felt good.
Yeah, when they lost, I was so happy.
I felt that right here.
LT with the vibes.
I never was rooting for another team so bad in my life.
Wait, you was rooting for the Patriots after the tackle?
Hey,
Sacrilege, man.
but it's also sacrilege for me to root for the Chargers.
Yeah, like
I can't root for the Chargers. I can't root for Phillip Rivers.
I know that. I was messing with you, bro. Man, that must be the hardest day of your life, man.
And at that point in time, I was a Colts fan. See, the Raiders, for the viewers who just now, I didn't become a Raiders fan until they came to Vegas. So, and I openly admit that. Y'all can call me fake. It's just okay.
But
I'm born and raised in Vegas, and when the Raiders got here, I became a fan.
I mean, as long as you weren't a fan of another team within the division, I guess.
No, I was a Colts fan because I was a Colts fan. I grew up a Giants fan. I'm an actual Giants fan, but I followed the Colts because of Peyton Manning. Huge Peyton Manning fan. So,
I'm messing with you. That's 3 teams in how many years? 3 different. I don't know, man.
Hey, he has a legit reason.
Yeah, that's
I grew up a Giants fan because all my
No.
family's from New York. Or, you know what I mean? I grew up on my mom's side of the family. They're all from New York, and they literally, we have, like, stake in Giants ownership and things like that. So I have a whole bunch of Giants memorabilia and things like that. I have a picture of me with a Cowboys jersey on as a kid crying. So that's how, like, I was raised as, a Giants fan. But then when I grew up, I started watching football on my own. Peyton Manning, that guy. So I followed the Colts. But I'm from Vegas. So Raiders get here, it's drop everything, and it's Raider Nation.
Drop everything. Craig's in trouble.
Come quick. Drop everything.
Craig's in trouble. Come quick.
Come quick.
Well, we're gonna use that segue and slide on over to some NBA. I seen in our, and if we get a chance to get to it, some controversy as far as the plan. So it got me thinking, like, what team needs this plan and what teams don't. So I'm gonna start the conversation with the top 5 teams in the East and West. And I'll let you go first.
No, go ahead.
You straight?
Yeah.
It might take me.
But you
I might hit you with the
do
book of Psalms, bro.
Yeah.
All right. So, but you guys can definitely make commentary.
Yeah.
All right. So let's go with the West, because the West is fairly easy for me. And I say fairly easy because number one, we're going with the Los Angeles Clippers. I know people are going to hate me for saying it. It's sacrilege to the Lakers fan. But I'm going to first start off with saying that they are the deepest team in the NBA. Currently, they are the number 1 3-point team in NBA history. Surprisingly, that stat has not gone down. They're shooting like 43% from 3. They're like number 1 offensive efficiency rated team in the NBA, top 10 defensive efficiency. But more importantly, at the trade deadline, they did not stand pat. They saw a need, and they filled that void with Rajon Rondo. This is going to be an integral piece for their championship aspirations because they're not playing to make the conference finals. They're playing to reach the NBA championship. That's what they got Kawhi Leonard there for,
right?
And Paul George. Rajon Rondo is someone who elevates his level of play in the playoffs. Kawhi Leonard elevates his level of play in the playoffs. They have 3 key players on their roster with finals experience. You have a finals MVP in Kawhi Leonard. You have multiple finals experiences with Serge Ibaka. Right. And you have multiple finals experiences with Rajon Rondo. Now with Rondo, you take the ball out of Paul George's hands. He's done an exceptional job at point forward, right? And now he can actually focus simply on scoring. Another thing with Paul George is he just was named the Western Conference Player of the Week. He's averaging 33.7 points per game, over 60% from 3. His 3-point percentage is higher than his field goal percentage, which is in the high 50s. Like, he's using ball, he's been dunking. Yeah. And another thing with the Clippers
got Bismack the other day.
Yeah. It's people are like, well, what about the playoffs, right? Because I'm actually ranking these how I think of the playoffs. Like, Paul George, he's barking back at Devin Booker this season. He beat the Suns, right, in that first matchup. Second matchup, Devin Booker still talking crap. He beats the Suns, right? Damian Lillard, they beat the Portland Trailblazers and completely shut down Damian Lillard. Yeah, so you're starting to see that key in his head.
Dame might have had like 10 points that whole game.
Yeah, and hopefully that Rajon Rondo is the vaccine, like we talked on the other show, for pandemic P. Hopefully he gets vaccinated before the playoffs. So get your vaccine, you know what I'm saying? so we're looking at that, right? And then you had Boogie Cousins who can kind of bang there. Terrence Mann.
Bro, he looked cool too. He looked straight, bro. I'm like, why the Rockets let him go?
Yeah, like they run 10 deep. Like literally, like Ty Lue has
5 in, 5 out. Like
no other team can really say that.
And they probably still could win with that 5, bro.
And they hung with they're the one team in the NBA, right, this season, who's only lost to the Nets twice by 4 points each every single time. And the first time, their full lineup with James Harden played. So I'm looking at the Clippers, and I'm like, they have shooters. They can hang with the Brooklyn Nets. Now, if they make the finals, though, right, they don't have the inside presence, which is where how you beat them with the Embiid, with Drummond. They don't have that.
He's too small.
Too small, right?
When he did that, I turned off my TV.
Okay, all right. But then number 2 is my team, the Los Angeles Lakers. And I put them at number 2 respectfully because they were able to go 500 without LeBron James and Anthony Davis.
Yo, that was that.
Mm-hmm.
I think I always sounds like if they could do that.
Yes. That does matter.
Bro, it's going to be hard to beat them, man.
Right. It's
going to be hard to beat because look, it was what one superstar, right? Mm-hmm. And they beat the Nets. Mm-hmm. So it's just like, yo, the Nets, they're deep too.
Harden is the MVP of the Nets team, though. And people are going to
I feel that.
His credit.
But it was one superstar, right. And then everybody wants to
praise KD. It was 2, but
they want to praise KD on this side, but then they want to say, but he just came back. No. He just shot a perfect game. So which is it?
And I think we can all agree it was a bad loss to the Nets.
It was a bad loss on the Nets. It was a bad loss on the Nets. He's on a minute.
But I'm just saying that speaks to what else the Lakers have. Right. And I'm not diminishing the Nets or anything. I'm just saying that speaks to what the outside of their top superstars, what the Lakers really have. They showed what they have.
And more importantly for the Lakers, right? And here's I wanted to cook on this because the 3 teams are going to be relatively quick. But I wanted to cook on this because I really believe we're going to get that LA matchup. It's the Lakers, in spite of AD being out, in spite of the versatility of LeBron James being out, with the injury, they're still maintaining their number 1 defensive efficiency because Frank Vogel has them all buying in into playing team defense. So now you bring
that's just like playing with Tom Thibodeau, not playing defense. That's not gonna happen.
So you bring AD in there, mixed with Drummond, mixed with LeBron. But the thing with the Clippers is, even last year,
see them all together.
Yeah, even last year, if you look at it, if you want to go by shooting and all that, they've never been a good matchup for LeBron because they throw bodies at him. Yeah. LeBron's not killing him. AD's killing him. Yeah. They still don't have anyone, but no one in the West has anyone for AD. So it's going to come down for me specifically. It's going to come down to health, and I think this is what I talked to you about last year. Was you're actually going to see it's not going to be LeBron and Kawhi, AD and PG. Which one's going to show up? If PG shows up the way he's playing now in the playoffs, I have it going 7 games. But LeBron James, right, is the greatest.
Because AD can do so much.
He can. But,
so if he's not scoring like that, he's still gonna shut somebody down.
Right.
Or at least protect that rim.
But see, and the pushback is but the Clippers have so much depth, right?
I mean, Paul George too. Paul George will lock something up if it.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. I don't trust Marquise Morris.
I'm 3 for 6 right now.
I don't trust KCP, Marquise. I'm not talking about to make shots, but Marquise, KCP, Ben McLemore, Kuzma to guard any of Kawhi or PG, right? So LeBron's going to have to defend somebody. But I think if you get to a Game 7, I know what I get out of LeBron. So if I'm the Clippers, I wouldn't put them away early, like 6 games.
It's going to be Game 3.
You feel what I'm saying?
This would game LeBron. Defensive LeBron's going to show up in Game 3, Game 5, and maybe 6 or 7, depending on how the series goes.
Yeah.
Defensive LeBron, where you're like, wow.
Yeah. And that's where AD comes in because, I think at the end of the day, that's why I'm like, if I'm betting, just bet the Clippers who haven't made the conference finals in 30 years. Let them make the conference finals. Don't let them make the NBA finals. You save your money. You don't want to lose it all.
Right.
But I think with the Lakers, it's the fact that we still don't know how healthy he is. We just don't know. We're just assuming.
I think he is. I think he's a lot more healthier than they're leading on, but they just want to rest him.
But the thing is,
they want to let it ride and rest him as long as possible and keep him working out, keep him in shape. As long as they can do that, they're going to be, like you said, healthy for the playoffs. Right. So just milk it.
But just because
milk it all. That's what Kawhi did. Milk it into the playoffs, bro.
But the thing is, when you have a team, even though it's not ruptured, when you're dealing with baseball, the cash rating, but that thing can flare up at any point in time, and it makes it hard to walk, it makes it hard to jog, run, all that kind of stuff. So AD. LeBron. But
that's what I'm saying. I'm sure they're working him out to where they're
they have the medical staff. We'll see.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They're like, yo, he's probably we can bring him back next week. They're like, nah, but give him another 2.5 weeks. And you see what I'm saying? So
my last thing is though, and this is what caused Victor Nation concern was everyone was like, what's going on with AD? Because even before the injury, he wasn't exactly being a world beater out there. You know what I'm saying?
It's a long season, bro. It's a rough patch.
10 less games, man. 10 less games. But you know.
So I have 10 less games that have a left. That's even harder on me because I know I'm going to have a rough patch throughout the season. You see what I'm saying? So now it's going to look even worse because there's 10 less games for me to have that rough patch in.
Yeah. But I think if you're talking about top heavy, I still think the Lakers are the best team. I think you're defending champion. If you're talking about depth, because I know LeBron has an extra gear, and I also have to think. I have to go like this. He's an all-time. He's like top 2, top 3 all time. So even with Kawhi and all that weaponry, right? If you're playing an all-time great like LeBron James at this point in his career, and you pair him with the best power forward.
At this point in his career, what do you mean?
Like I'm talking about because like what he knows from a psychological, mental.
Like he's seen everything.
Yeah, because
he's out there playing against Drew Brees, Tom Brady, or Peyton Manning. Like I can't throw a coverage at them that they haven't seen.
Yeah, that's okay. Yeah. But then Rondo was calling out the Phoenix Suns plays, so I think this is going to be a very good chess match. I think it's going to be one of the most
intriguing years in basketball in a long time.
And then different nuggets.
I do honestly think there's a lot of parity.
This year?
That's what I'm saying. I was going to say,
like even with the Nets, bro, like I was telling my brothers, like they got to win it this year, and then I'm not trying to hear no excuses. I was like, bro, like they still got to play with each other, bro. It don't matter if
it's still basketball.
Yeah, I was like, if it don't flow, it don't flow. Yeah. Like they still got to figure out what's working and what's not working.
Murders LeBron for not winning it his first year in Miami. I'm just like, bro.
Yeah.
He didn't know. Okay, they never went over. They never had the conversation, never went over in practice. Okay, last 30 seconds when it comes to who's going to take the shot, who's going to beat me or you, Dwayne Wade, because it's your team. I'm coming to your team.
Yeah.
You're my big brother. Yeah. So I'm not here to step on your toes. And he had to have a conversation with LeBron. I want you to take that shot. I brought you here to be that guy. I didn't know that. You see, following after that, everything changed. That's why. It had nothing to do with Hunger Games and all that other. No, it had nothing to do with that, bro. That's what it was. Because they didn't know who was going to take that last shot. That's what it came down to. So he's just like, do I take it? Do I give it? And you're thinking now instead of just being the best player on the planet.
I believe.
So if we're gonna butcher LeBron on that, if they don't win it this year, we gotta butcher them too.
Yeah.
Facts.
Facts. And I was going to mention my last couple teams, Utah Jazz, number 3. The reason why I love their number 1 seed in the West, but we still want to see what they're going to do in the playoffs. I knew they blew a 3-1. They blew a 3-1 lead last year, right?
Yeah.
So that's still in the crawl of people's minds. It's up with the Clippers. They blew a 3-1 lead. But at the same time, they have I think they have on paper they have some nice pieces. You have a playmaker in Mike Conley. You have a star and Donovan Mitchell that you can rely on.
Yeah.
You have Bogdanovich and Joe Ingles there. You have a rim protector and Rudy Gobert, and you have a 6-man in
Clarkson.
So I think that's good enough to make you third. You're one of the top 3-point shooting teams in the league. You have a good coach, and you have good defense, right? Then after that, I have the Phoenix Suns, who have a offensive presence inside down low with Ayton. You have Devin Booker. You have CP3, who's joining a team that was in a play-in game, right?
Yeah.
And every year, every team he's been on, he's elevated the impact of said team, right? But I think the fact that the Utah Jazz have a little more wing depth, even though the Suns did beat them, it took them overtime to beat them, though, right? And the Phoenix Suns have not been into the playoffs since 2009, right? When freaking like Trey Songz was popping. So it's like you have guys who've never been there outside of CP3.
Right.
So I think the fact that Utah has something to kind of prove, I put them right ahead of the Phoenix Suns, 3 and 4. Right? Oh, and then 5.
That's the case. What about
Portland? I said I moved Denver out. I know. People were like, whoa.
Jamal Murray blew out his knee.
That's right. I really
believe that's huge because I'm looking. Who's their backup point guard? Like Campazano, a little short.
I thought it was Alfred Morris.
No. Monte Morris is a shooting guard. He's like he can play point, but they have this like Federico Campazano.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I thought Morris was playing point for them. I thought he was their backup point.
He plays it sometimes.
Okay, for sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But that's just me. I think Denver is still a tough team.
They're 6. I would move them down to 6.
Yeah.
If the Mavs had Porzingis, I'd move them to 5. I mean, into the 5. I do think he's overrated. But
another stream.
Yeah, I do agree with you, but he's skillful enough that with that team and how well Luka plays, especially in the playoffs, if he's healthy, he's definitely can put them in. They're top 5 in the West.
And somewhere Mavs are like,
right.
No, I feel you though, bro. I feel you.
But I'm going with Clippers at the top. I actually got the Jazz as 2.
Okay.
Shout
out to Shaq.
But I will preface this with if I had to make a list of teams I trust in the playoffs,
oh man,
the Jazz would be lower on this list.
Like 8.
That's what I was like. You mentioned a lot of
the Blazers,
key players.
The Blazers too.
Donovan Mitchell's just out on the
I have
at the end of the day, it's always just him out there.
Yeah.
That's why they didn't have Bojan last year. They didn't have Bojan.
Oh yeah. That's
so Bojan gives you another 20 points.
Right. Conley gives you that stability.
But the Suns could be.
And but then so I got the Jazz at 2, just how well they've been playing this year. Everything that you mentioned. I think Clarkson is a real key because then in the closing minutes of the game, like if you had 2 people that can go get a bucket, because he's like a legit bucket, even though he's coming off the bench. So like with him and Donovan on the court at the same time, you can't just key in on Donovan. Or at least it makes it much more difficult.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
And so with that, I'm gonna get him 2. Then I'm gonna go with 3. I'm gonna go with the Suns. Like CP3 is my dude.
Yeah.
I've been rocking with him hard for the last couple of years, and so I really did like that team. Even last year, they finished. They went 8-0 and just didn't make the playoffs because they were so bad. Right. The one thing is they didn't even get to the play-in game. They were just shy of the play-in game.
Right, you're right. So no matter what they did, it's like, why even have them there then? That's all I was just like.
What you
doing? That was crazy.
That was cool, bro. You shook the camera, fam. What is you all good shit, man? No, I was playing. So, with the Suns, like I like DeAndre Ayton. I like Bridges. I like Dev. D-Book is a whole problem. But then Chris Paul just to get in that leadership and keep and drive it.
Just like send a message to 2K and tell them to stop doing that.
Bruh, I thought I was the only one.
Bro,
him and Bradley Beal, bro.
Wow, bro.
You tweaking on Bradley Beal. That nigga greens everything.
Not when I play with him, bro.
That is probably the easiest player to play with in 2K.
No, you know what?
Dedicated.
You know what? That was last year. Last year, but since he's like been killing it, the update they did once they get put out 2K, he's been balling on that.
Was dropping
but before that, bro,
that nigga made everything.
Right. I could not hit anything with him. Now I can hit everything with him. But Book,
yeah, when it came out, I was like, again? I was like,
you really got to practice the release. Like his difficult shots is the thing. So when you have like fadeaways or leaners and stuff like that, with Book, you really got to practice that type of shit.
Oh, okay, but why make him any worse?
Yeah. Because, like, the usual way people play, you really got to create space with Book and have a second move in order for him to score efficiently. You can't just catch and shoot with him. Like, he really got to warm up before you can even get to that. It's just certain things like that. You got to get on the run.
Yeah. So, so I got the Suns at 3, and I'm going to go Lakers at 4. And the reason why I'm gonna go Lakers at 4. Not because of, like I said, if I had to take teams I trust, I trust LeBron. Hey, can you do me a favor, bro? Can you close the door? I trust LeBron more than I trust Utah Jazz.
Wait, but you get the Lakers below when you talk that.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, as far as like how teams, teams are, and how they're playing currently.
Yeah, okay.
Like with the Lakers, I'm just projecting.
Right, because we still have to see them come back.
Right, I still got to see how well they play with Drummond. And
because Drummond's not Jabbar.
Right. So like I even though I do think
well, my thing is
think they're gonna be a good team with him though.
I feel like if the piece is not like if it fits within what they're doing, it's not gonna be that big of an adjustment as far as
that's why
it's already what they need. You know what I mean?
And they played with White last year.
Right.
And McGee. And the thing is, like, defensive rebounding wins championships. And, Lakers have a championship culture. So, all right. That's your 5?
That was
4.
That was 4. And then I had the Blazers at 5.
So he's at 5.
And Dame, and since how they've been playing this year, I like the addition of Powell. Like we were talking about, with Powell getting there, them putting the ball a little bit more in CJ's hands, it gives Dame a chance to come off a screen and be off ball, rather so the defense can't key on him.
What CJ waiting for.
And they got cancer, averaging double-double right now.
Right. He just had a 30 rebound game or something like that. I'm like, what?
Yeah, right.
That's crazy.
Like he Moses Malone?
Right. The reincarnation of Moses. That's crazy. And then so with that, that's my 5. And did you say your East?
No, I didn't go East. I thought we were just going West and then go back to East.
All right. I'm gonna go in on mine. So obviously, I think I'm gonna go 5 though. All right. And then, so with that, I got
the Nets with half a team. That's 2.
I got the Heat at 5. Actually, the Celtics are not in my 5. The Celtics are not in my 5. I got the Heat at 5.
I gotta hear this.
Like, what poverty team snuck in your top 5?
Charity.
Like, paid him off. Like the Wizards gonna get up in there with Beal and Westbrook gonna go off. I'm like, man, what poverty team?
So with the Heat.
No, Orlando has no players.
No.
They got Obama shooting 3.
Hey, with 3 for 3 though. Right. But so I got the Heat. The addition of Oladipo. Although, like we talked about earlier, like they've taken some steps back in certain areas that was able to propel them to the finals last year. So, like, I'm not sure as far as how far they'll go in the playoffs, but just as far as rankings in the East, and I think a lot of that is by the time you get to the second or third round. Like, at least by the second round, I think you're going to run into one of the teams that got up top. So you're definitely going to lose to them. And so
these series are going to like 6 and 7.
Yeah,
first round off the rip. Like,
and so with that, I got the Heat at 5. I got the Hawks at 4. They got a legitimate closer, a lot of young talent, and Nate McMillan. Since Nate McMillan taken over, defensive coach. He makes sure his players play hard. They're playing much better, playing much harder, better defense. My Bulls just gave up a lead to them, but they're giving up leads to everybody, so it doesn't matter. But that's a whole other podcast. And so, but it's crazy. I was sitting here when I was doing these lists. I looked at like the standings, and on both sides, after the third team, how many games back everybody else is?
It's crazy.
Bro. It's like 3 or 4 games.
They're goal records, all of that. They're like, what?
I'm like, that's crazy. Yeah. But like, then
that's 4.
I got the Bucks at 3. Giannis, if Budenholzer can get out the way, honestly, is really what that is. Because like we talked about earlier, like you can't have Giannis just go 1-on-5 all game long and think like he can just skip through that lane.
What do you mean? He won 2 MVPs on that.
And so like, but in the playoffs, bro, you can't get away with that.
So that's not winning basketball.
No, the Heat uses zone against them.
Yeah. And so it's like that's when you use the screen and roll.
Yeah,
like I said,
they use the zone against them and it was over. So.
Yeah, that's when.
So that's not winning basketball.
No, not at all. Not actually at all. Kobe said it.
And I'm a Giannis fan.
So can we give these MVPs to somebody else?
Right.
Like, God, dog.
But see, you have to think about it.
I've been saying that for the past 3 years. It's when they bring him up before he got it.
It's regular season impact. You know how it is.
Yeah.
And they go get to the best.
Hey, do you think they should stop? They should start giving the award out like when the season is over. Vote about that jump and get this award out, or should they wait?
It should be 2 separate. There should be a whole playoff MVP. Right. And then there should be a regular season MVP.
Kobe would have won 3 of them votes.
Oh, yeah, I kind of like that.
And then because I feel like you have a regular season and you have the playoffs and then you have the finals. Like the finals is its own thing.
Right.
It's not even a part of the playoffs.
Oh, so you think they should just
playoffs are a road to the finals, but the playoffs are not the finals. I mean, the finals are not the playoffs. The finals is just that's it. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what it's all. You know what I mean? That's what you're doing it for. So I feel like there should be a playoff MVP. There's obviously a finals MVP, and there should be a regular season MVP.
Kind of how they do with the Super Bowl. They have the Pro Bowl, announce everything, and then the Super Bowl happens.
Yeah, because we have like all NBA teams.
It's kind of like
they announce everything.
Kind of like
after everything is fucking.
Because like the MOP award is like for the whole what's it called? It's for the whole tournament, not just the. To my knowledge, at least, it's for the whole the MOP award. MOP, the most
outstanding player.
Yeah, in college basketball, I think they give it to the whole whoever was the your best player, pretty much, for the whole tournament.
I mean, that's cool. So it sounds a little more fair.
Yeah. Who's your number 2?
Oh, and then I got the Sixers and the Nets.
Okay. No Knicks. We got to get your Knicks.
No Knicks.
They're at 7.
Everybody hates Knicks.
They're at 7.
Bro, it's playing. So you're saying there's a chance?
No. As far as like 6, 7, 8, that shit would go to the air.
Yeah. When LaMelo was there, I probably would have.
LaMelo would be 8. He was cooking. Hornets would be 8 if LaMelo.
I would say they're 7. Honestly.
Really?
Yeah.
Possibly.
I'm just giving my man a playoff spot, but he was hooping.
He was starting to take over.
I was gonna say, but he had
21-7, like,
and they were like playing. They were playing some of the top teams very tough.
Because you can see, like, I'm not to get too far off topic, but LaMelo like already has a control of the game.
Yeah.
Like, you know what? I'm gonna get you involved first, and then midway through the third quarter, I'm gonna take off.
Right.
Like you got that takes brothers years to grow into.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like and
it's nice that we watch it like through middle school. Like
we just get to watch it
the way they play. The way they play has been like that since they stepped on the court as
brothers. And I gotta thank you, bro. You the one to put me on the Ball Brothers years ago. Years, He put me on them years ago, bro. Because he's boys balling out at Chino Hills. I was like, Chino Hills? Yeah. Bro, I'm sitting there like,
they came to DO for a tournament. That was before LaMelo hit that half-court shot and that shit went trending. That was the year before when he was like, I think 5'10".
Was he what? What grade was he in?
He was a. This was when LiAngelo was a junior, and Lonzo.
So he was probably what, 8th grade?
He was a sophomore.
No, I think he was playing with them when he was in junior high school and they were in high school.
Yeah, concern, bro.
When they first started, he was in junior high school, bro.
Yeah, he's been playing with them since 6th grade and shit. So as far as that type of competition, he's been playing with older people. But when it came to him playing varsity, I think he started in 8th grade.
Yeah.
So when it came to that, when Lonzo first got noticed, that was when Lonzo was in his junior year. Mm-hmm. Then senior year, that's when I first saw LaMelo at DO, and when he was young off whip, he had that machismo. He already had that floor general. So when it came to that, and it helps to be 6'7", 6'8", and just shoot from anywhere and you get the green light. It's a very open way of playing the game, especially when you're a distributor as well. So yeah, it makes that, and you speed the game up, cause turnovers. The defense, you can tell, improves when he's on the court. Yeah, so as far as that, like, they add a lot of elements that'll help. I'm just wondering how that shit's gonna work in playoffs when he's healthy. I want to see that when his game's improved and shit like that. So yeah, not to veer off from what you talking about.
Yeah, it's all good. Do you think they should do the playing game, or is it at this point like we didn't already play 72 games? No. Like, what you mean play it?
Unless you want to see the playing game.
It's to me, it's like you might as well just kept it the 82 season.
Right, that's right.
But I mean, I'm for more intense basketball.
Yeah, like
so for that part of it,
sure, yeah.
You're not gonna hear any complaint from me. That's just like them adding another week to the NFL. I'm not gonna complain.
Yeah, we just switching it up just to see what happens.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
People want to see Steph Curry go out there with the greatest defender of all time. Self-proclaimed greatest defender of all time. Self-proclaimed. Raymond Green. I'm joking. But yeah, they want to see Steph Curry go out there and shoot threes from half court and score 50
in the
points.
playoffs.
Yeah, so I was telling my brother, like, how we were talking about if he doesn't make the playoffs, how he should take a hit to his legacy.
Yeah, he should.
He was looking at
and that's not hate.
What? I was like, what?
You don't think so?
It's not hate.
He's in my top 5.
It's just mentioning that when Curry,
he's not as good as you thought he was.
Well,
CP3,
I'm not the one supporting this bullshit.
Yeah.
So when it comes to this,
they compared him to Jordan. So
when Curry does not put up 30+ points, they lose. And even when he does, like they win by a little bit.
So do you see,
that's when he's by himself.
Do you see how frustrated we've been as LeBron fans? Do you understand now? When he's been going up against Steph, Clay, Draymond, and who else did they have?
Clay's the clutchest player on that team.
Yeah, when he was doing good, they first drafted Harrison Barnes. Back when they first drafted him, he had
States.
And it was LeBron with Matthew Dellavedova.
Yeah.
Now, do you see our frustration now?
Yeah. My former coach.
I can tell when there's closers and the people that have to set the momentum. Clay is that guy that has to set the momentum.
He doesn't need to dribble and he can still get 60.
Right.
That's crazy. He got 60 on 3 years.
That's not even basketball.
Yeah, that's crazy. Just like
that's something else.
He's like, come.
He's like,
come, run with it.
That's a different sport. Like, he's out there playing his own sport.
He's like, run with the corner, run with the win.
He's like, I need you to come practice with me.
He's like, come on, I'm just gonna jog over here. All right, cool.
Yo, he gets
no layups.
His release is so quick. Like his ability to catch it and get it and get to like that finished shot motion is.
And once again,
like that.
Think about how many shots he has to put up to like where it's just like second nature. That form is second nature.
Yeah.
That means he's put up literally millions of shots.
I still got.
I wouldn't even say thousands, millions of shots.
I guess it from his dad. I would definitely say he gets it from his dad.
That's a whole nother pod.
Yeah.
I mean, we can do that too. Because Magic's a GOAT point guard.
Rondo top 10.
Yeah, he's definitely a GOAT point guard.
I give him 10.
I got him 9. Crazy number. I got him jersey. I got him number 9. Kyrie number 11.
By Reed.
Jason Kidd.
Oh, I was gonna say, where your boy J. Kidd at?
Yeah,
no Gary Payton.
In the top 10 now.
Damn. The glove? You better not have no Sidney Moncrief for both.
I got the Canadian on there. I got Steve Nash.
That's over GP.
Yeah. Because even without D'Antoni, he was still functioning in the offense. I got Nash right behind Curry.
All right, y'all. That was a pleasure. Yeah. He tripping.
What you have GP? I gonna end it like that. Yeah, he's tripping. So we gonna go.
We have GP.
We gonna end this one,
He
bro.
is showing 10.
Oh,
yeah,
shit.
bro. I don't know 10 point guards that were just like
Magic Johnson.
absolutely.
If you're gonna, I'm not putting Steve Nash.
Isaiah Thomas.
This is extended good.
Chris
Right. Extended cut. Keep rolling.
John Stockton. Steph Curry.
Nah.
Steve Nash.
Nah, son.
What you think Gary Payton?
Wait a minute. Let's take Steph out.
John fucking Stockton.
He already said John. He already said John.
John Stockton. John Stockton.
John?
Bro. John Stockton
And
played
the
more
reason why
games
it's
than anybody.
happened is when they popped up the 20%.
And he can play defense.
I don't know if you're still recording.
It is. I can see it here.
Oh, you're right here.
How is John Stockton not even top 5, bro?
I'm saying Curry. I have no.
You have Curry in top 5.
No.
Okay, so I can keep cooking. I was
saying
almost
that-
on my list. I have guys like Billups, Rondo, Tony Parker, all them guys. Man. But I have
In the 10?
Huh?
In the 10?
No. I actually do. I have Billups in my 10. Do I have him like number 11? But Billups is closer.
I don't
He's
know,
the Finals
bro.
MVP. And
I don't know.
Billups, when AI left, Billups improved that team to the conference finals. So I look at impact. I care about
I'm
impact.
not gonna say anybody right, but
But Gary Payton,
something sound off.
I have-
When you said Steph Curry, that shit just sounded
No, I
off.
said Steph, not Seth.
I know what you said.
Oh, yeah, I was like, yeah.
You just mentioned, you was like, oh yeah, you start off real strong. And then,
Well, you don't have Steph.
I just
Oh,
don't
you're
see
not-
him
oh.
like that, bro.
I have him at number 5.
When we talk, if we
Well,
talk
I thought you said he was
shooters,
good.
yes.
I have him number 5.
Oh, I came
His
back
peak,
to tell you
at
on the
his
smoke.
peak, at his peak, though.
Wait.
Oh, okay.
What's it called? But what?
Because-
but right now,
No,
is he out of his peak? He's past his prime now.
Who?
He's not in
Steph Curry.
No, he's in his prime. He's in his prime.
No.
He's at his peak. At his peak. At your
So
peak.
what did you
Like
just say?
LeBron at his
Even when he
peak,
scores over
yeah.
30, they're winning by what, 4 points?
But I'm saying at his peak, I would take him over Nash.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what
Nah, not me.
he's
I
a
would.
little bit better than that.
Not me.
So
I like different types of point guards though.
no, I like the CP3s and Jason Kidd. But,
Yeah, I'm yeah.
but I have Jason Kidd over GP.
Yes,
And
I would agree with that.
That's fine.
And that's his like son. You know, he loves Jason Kidd. But Jason Kidd gave MJ the blues as a rookie. So I mean, he did come in and had like 25, 11, and 10 as a rookie. I was like, man, this dude nice as hell. That was back in like 9-6, bro. When I was like a kid, like Tyler.
Man.
But I have GP in my top 15. Well,
15?
yeah. Because I got to think, I didn't even mention Oscar Robinson, bro. See?
How low on that?
Yeah, Oscar Robinson.
How low on
Oscar
that?
Robinson. Oscar Robinson. Come on, man.
He is 15.
His big old top 10.
Hey, that's why I
This
said
big old
take
top
Steph.
10.
That's literally why, because you started mentioning people. You got to 4. It was like Steph. Like, all right, so take him out. Wait a minute. Where's Oscar Robertson at?
Bro, I think he's the greatest defensive point guard. I mean, of all time.
Who?
For now.
Who?
Gary Payton.
I'll give you that.
Right. Ben Simmons more versatile.
Yeah.
Versatile.
Yeah.
He can guard 1 through 5.
He literally can guard 1 through 5.
Like I really seen him
As a
chase. I
defensive.
saw him chase Damian
Not
Lillard.
all right.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay.
Not
all right.
all
We're not talking about shooting.
Just starting
Because he wears a shooting sleeve,
Right.
and I'm gonna leave the joke right there.
Right.
I'm just saying.
But I have him ahead of your boy.
Who's my boy?
Rose.
Yeah, who been ahead of who?
GP, you was complaining about everyone else, but see if I say I have him ahead of your boy.
What?
That's
Is
just not fair.
That's
As a-
disrespectful.
Yeah, I have him ahead of your boy.
As a career, yes.
That's what I'm
So
saying.
you're saying Derrick Rose is not top 15?
No, I'm saying I think he's more skilled than GP. I'm just saying career.
But you said you have GP ahead of Derrick Rose.
Yeah.
And it-
Yeah.
What?
Career wise.
Are we going off career?
When did GP win?
Like everything.
When did he win though?
He won a title with the
finals. He ran to that.
Stop it, bro.
He
Said it with a straight face.
ran into the 96 Bulls, not the 98 Bulls, the 96 Bulls. Not his fault. And he was checking MJ, bro, but MJ was
and
like...
Derrick Rose ran into LeBron.
MJ was like, the glove, I have no problem. Stop lying, MJ. Come on, man.
Derrick Rose ran into LeBron in the heels.
Yeah.
He also sprained his ankle.
So...
Because I hate how people try to be like, oh, LeBron locked up D Rose.
So same.
He sprained his ankle.
Derrick Rose. Are you kidding me?
I have
Russell West. Oh, Derrick Rose or Russell Westbrook.
Derrick Rose.
I take Derrick Rose too.
Derrick Rose.
I have them both behind GP though. But it's
I've seen Derrick
Rose.
Russell doesn't shine unless Derrick Rose gets hurt. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. When he goes to an athletic point guard, Derrick Rose is the byproduct of that. Once he came in, nobody wanted to see him. Once he got
Derrick Rose is
everyone
athletic for his own good.
Mm-hmm.
But my number one GOAT point guard of all time, my personal GOAT, not who's the greatest point guard, but my personal GOAT. Hell no. No offense. And I'm a Laker fan. Gilbert Arenas, man.
I'll feel you on that.
Yeah, man.
No chill deal.
Agent Zero.
You know how many times I played with the Wizards. So,
Gilly was
I'm from the DMV, so you know, from Baltimore, but I watch Gilbert Arenas.
I'm about to get a jersey soon.
I call
Hey,
him
which one?
Gonzo.
Hey, which one you gonna get?
I'm gonna get the blue.
The blue joint?
Yeah, I'm gonna get the blue joint. It's
I don't know why, but I love that gold one.
Who's your GOAT point guard? Zero?
Yeah.
It's just it's so close to us.
I really it's not even just that, bro. I really believe that you put him against any point guard in history, and he's doing blue. Bro.
His prime was sitting.
And at least on offense, he might not be able to guard the other person.
That's why I wouldn't.
I like him because he gives effort on defense.
Better than
He's actually a really good defender.
He's better than Kyrie.
Yeah, I was gonna say, but he's a really good defender. He's just not the type that I'm gonna lock you down, but I'm gonna make you everything. You working for everything.
Yeah, he knows how to contain. It's not like he's shutting down. Like he's a shutdown.
I know you love Magic, right? I'm gonna put that defense to the test, man. Magic couldn't even defend Simeon High.
Hey,
I understand, bro.
Once Derrick Rose
might have been the worst version of him, bro.
If he gets the ball first,
can Derrick Rose stop Magic?
If he gets the ball. Wait, can Derrick Rose stop Magic? Yeah, because Magic do that hook shot. Derrick Rose.
The junior. You said Kareem had the most unstoppable shot of all time. Magic had the next best thing because he had the junior.
Man, Derrick Rose got like a 39-inch vertical, man. Stop it, bro.
So now he's gonna swat a 6'9".
Derrick Rose not guarding that hook.
Come on, bro.
Hey, y'all, Captain. This man capping. I thought I was simple.
Yeah, you got a fact.
Derrick Rose is
Cut. This man tweaking, bro.
Now, like our parents wasn't Simeon. Like Derrick Rose is not jumping up with 6'9" prime.
No.
Magic, bro.
his head above the rim, bro.
I love that man to death, but man,
And he has some
on offense, nobody is going to get
nobody
to stop the crossover.
I think Derek Fisher would beat him to the basket, and Magic would probably do a chase down and probably get him maybe once or twice.
Yeah, if you're on weak side.
But outside of that, how would Derek Fisher stop him?
If
they're playing one-on-one, I'm just saying.
Bro, don't disrespect cool like this.
Bro, I'm not saying. I'm not saying he's.
He's wildin', bro.
Hey, Derek Fisher was that dude, bro.
Bruh, get up out of here.
Which version? The one that played for the Jazz?
Oh, the one that got beat up by Matt Barnes.
Yeah, Matt Barnes.
I'm talking about Lakers.
Or Derek Fisher that played for the Warriors for half a season, man. Oh, man. I can't believe he actually went there. That was a dark year. But it was cool, man. That was fun.
But thank you all for watching. That was fun. We gonna end this right. You can catch us on YouTube. I changed a few things, so just to give you all some updates. The YouTube channel is the HeSaySheSay channel. You can catch us on Facebook as well. The HeSaySheSay channel as well. On those two platforms, you'll be able to watch the HeSaySheSay sports show, as well as my regular podcast, the HeSaySheSay podcast. You'll be able to catch that on IGTV as well as on our YouTube channel. Next month, for the month of May, we will be doing prizes for trying to boost our fan interaction. So help us out, y'all.
We appreciate you guys.
Whoever has the most comments, we're working on merch. So on June 1st, I will announce who got the most comments, and we will give you all a shirt, hoodie, tank top, whichever you would like, with the logo, with our new logo we're currently working on. Thank you all for watching. Peace.
What is Zion rank?